my chalk is coming to say your show sucks. Caitlin Clark rules. The same man is on the attack. But Christ sure stinks. Show me how we guilty. And for once good day, I thought it was squash. Right the theater wishes us well, but my chalk is coming to say your show sucks. Shark is coming to say your show sucks. Caitlin Clark rules. The monster dick, I thought it was squashed.
Whoa! Why are they on the screen? What's going on? Yay! Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to World War Z. It's been a long time since I've had guests on the show, and I couldn't be any more happier. Joining me, as always, is my good friend from the Check Your Brain podcast, Mr. Tony Mazur. Tony, how are you?
Good. It's good seeing you again, Chad. We saw each other last week. So you had a
did.
good time at the Adam Sandler concert or show or whatever the heck that was.
Would you like to introduce our special guest today, Tony?
No, you. How about you do it?
Okay.
It is your show after all.
But you're a big Dr. Steve fan, right? Is that true, Tony?
No, nobody is.
Tony, is that true? You're a big Dr. Steve fan? Great. Good job, Tony. He's froze.
I do enjoy
That's good
Dr.
stuff.
Steve. Still, I listen
there
to
you
the Weird Medicine podcast. I listen to the Weird Medicine radio show.
Oh,
You could have just introed him.
thanks, man.
From the Weird Medicine podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Dr. Steve.
Thanks for having me. Hello,
That's
Tony.
great.
We've talked before. I thought we had done something before, but I think we were going to, and I bailed like an asshole or something. I'm not sure what happened there.
Yeah, what happened?
Tony,
Tony, your Wi-Fi is broken, bro. I don't know what's going on up there in Parma, Ohio, but it's
He's
not good.
doing the Matrix shot time.
That's yeah, Tony. There you are. You're better now.
Very robotic.
Yeah, try logging on and logging in. Turn it
Go
off.
out of
turn
the
it on.
room and come
Am I
back
better now?
in.
Because I'm seeing.
No,
No, Tony.
Yeah. Let me
just
log
come back in.
back out. Log back in.
this is going great.
Yeah, it's not working. Shit! All right, Dr. Steve. Great having you on the show. I wanted to do a little something different today because you're kind of a guy who's in the system here, the quote unquote Dabbleverse or somewhat adjacent to it.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
you're a guy who was also with a lot of knowledge and a medical background. And I wanted to talk a little bit about just some of the craziness that's coming out of this. You got lawsuits, you got restraining orders, you got guy doing 8 days in jail. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just insane.
Yeah.
Like
Hurt
what's going on
feelings.
right now. Now, when does things get too real and when does things get, I mean, what is the balance here of entertainment and real life?
Well, that's a philosophical question. You know, this whole business of internet drama, it's like any other drama, but it can be constant. We have our phones, we can just doom scroll, and you go through and you find 50 positive comments and one that just pisses you off, and that's the only one you can think of. You know, Voss used to talk to me about that he'd have, he would do a performance, there'd be 100 positive comments, and he would just focus on that one negative one. And, you know, this drama causes stress. It activates the brain's reward system with this dopamine reward system, and we become addicted to it. And I'm I suffer from that, or suffer from it. I mean, I experience that myself. I mean, the first thing I do in the morning is turn Reddit on just to see what people have posted the night before. And social media, it's known that social media is, feeds this dopamine system. And you get these variable rewards because the reward is unpredictable. You scroll through a bunch of boring shit, and then you find one that's interesting or shocking or dramatic, and it's like a slot machine, right? It keeps you engaged and scrolling and hoping for that next dopamine hit. And then when you get and I'll shut up.
No.
You get the dopamine deficit when you're off, or there's not something on there that's interesting to you, or there's a bunch of negative stuff. You get that dopamine deficit. It can make you feel like shit for a day or a week, or it can induce a state of depression in people too. So you get this addictive behavior, decreased satisfaction in life, which is associated with depression. It's called anhedonia, where you just don't enjoy things anymore. And some of this stuff became very dark. The Aaron stuff, when all that was going on with the kids, and we were hearing about it for the first time, it was extremely dark. The lawsuit, I think, is less dark, but it is real. I mean, this is real. It's IRL. I saw the bill from the defendant's attorney, and just for one segment of things that he did and a retainer is $28,000. It's not chicken feed,
So you're here to confirm, and I'm not by it. I don't have a problem with Shuley. Carl and I have a history, but they're not grifting. This is like a real thing, these legal fees.
Absolutely. No, listen, Carl asked me to set it up. I had said, what can I do to help? Right. And he called me one day, and I put it on the GoFundMe. I had in big letters, Carl made me do this. It was a joke. But he said, if we set it up, people will assume we're grifting. And we tried to think of someone that could set this up and, to help defray the legal fees. And he said, you're the most Switzerland person that we know. So I agreed to do it because they're my friends. But I also agreed to do it because it will help the plaintiff as well. No matter what he thinks, any dollar that goes to Danny, to Wong, and is it Chavallo? If he's Italian, it's Chavalos, and if he's Hispanic, it should be Ceballos. But I think he calls himself Ceballos. But anyway, doesn't matter. Any penny that goes to Ceballos and Wong is a penny that the plaintiff would not have to pay back if they were found liable for legal fees. So this really does help everybody,
See, I'm in a weird tug of war with the John thing because I'm not a fan of John because, as you know, he's called the police on me. He's got my gig canceled.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that, yeah.
I believe, and I will go to
There's so much stuff you can't keep, but I do remember that, yeah.
And I believe he took down my original Patreon, which costed me a pretty penny, and I think he does a lot of crazy stuff like that. But on the flip side of that, it's kind of fun knowing Carl might have to pay.
Oh, come on. I know. Listen, okay, we're going to have to agree to disagree on that.
That's fine.
I like Carl. I like you. I like Carl. I like Shuley. Shuley did an event for me. I was just talking about this on the Bladcast, which of course no one will see, but Shuley did an event for me, and he was outstanding. I
should have gave you one of these when you said Bladcast.
He was outstanding. I mean, I don't want to go through the whole thing again. I've told this story in other venues, but I mean, he blew the socks off that thing, and he really came through for me when I needed somebody to really do a good job. So I will pretty much never shit on Shuley unless he just does something, gross to me. But and I like Carl. He's my friend. They're both. I consider them friends. So
agree to disagree with Carl.
Yeah. And we can do that. We can agree to disagree,
like adults. Well, here's the one thing I've always said universally across the board, and I think we all agree if there was ever a summit with all the teams, all the players, like all the mafia people.
Right, the five families.
You remember that scene in The Dark Knight where they all gathered in the basement to
Yes.
talk about, we got to take down Batman.
Yeah.
I
Who's getting
think-
the pencil in the eye, though?
Tony Mazur.
Poor
Right.
So no, I
See,
think.
by the way, Chad, you booked me under false pretenses. I thought we were going to talk about the COVID shot today.
Oh, that's Gino's podcast.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's right.
I've already done that with Gino.
That's
It's
in hot water.
for
You're on the
two.
wrong show. That's go to his Patreon. No, my thing is the one thing across the board we'll all agree. Number one, we all like Dr. Steve across the board, except John.
Not everybody, right?
And we all hate Stuttering John across. We're all on the same team with those two things. That's it. Everything else we disagree on.
Hate's a strong word.
Yeah, you're
I'm
right.
not-
Extremely hate.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'm not thrilled with, my history with John was I was a fan when he was on Howard. I mean, I was a fan of Howard. So by extension, I was a fan of the work that he was doing on there. And when I really turned around on him as a human being, when I saw him on I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here, I thought he was great on that. And I remember thinking at the time, oh, this guy, he's not who I thought he was, just a buffoon. And then he got the job on the Tonight Show, and I'm like, well, good for him. And then didn't hear anything from him until, this Dabbleverse stuff started up. And then I see a really, really different side to him where, I do this prostate exam on Rocco, simulated or not, and no one will ever know the truth except for Rocco and me. And, then he's talking about filing an ethics complaint because I did a medical procedure across state lines or something. I was like, what the fuck, dude? And if I showed you my DMs, him motherfucking me in my DMs because I went on Carl's show, I wore the shirt and I thought he was in on the joke. And he, said, why are you trashing me and all this stuff? And so I said, you're right. I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. I thought you were in on the joke. I think you're not reacting to criticism very well, which is what's perpetuating this. And I tried to help him with that, but I didn't want to hear that. They're trashing my family and all that stuff. And I said, I'll lay off. Okay. It just won't be coming from me. Well, then I was on Carl's show on vacation to talk about that ad. You remember the ad that they Postmates had about taking lots of fiber to have anal sex? Do you remember that?
Vaguely.
I went on there to talk about that, but the first segment was a John segment, and I didn't know that, and I wasn't, I wasn't just going to sit there and go, well, I'm not going to speak during this segment. So I threw in a couple of jokes and talked about the C-Best exam and stuff, and he motherfucked me in the chat or in my DMs, and then I was like, I'm dealing with something I don't want to deal with. So I just, I backed off from the whole thing. The closest I came to doing anything John related was the roast at DabbleCon, which was fun. It was lighthearted. It was fun.
Yeah. You're in it just for the silliness but it gets so intense at times. Like I said at the top of the show, I mean, we got a guy going to jail for 8 days,
right?
Which is insane. I mean, Tony, you keep an eye on this from afar. What do you think of everything that's going on?
I know that Aaron's vacation is twice as long as mine was last week.
Yeah, but you went to West Palm Beach on the beach. He's in an actual jail cell.
Yeah,
revenge porn.
Yeah, but you're away from the nonsense, right? You get away, little break, not look at your phone, not try to reach your goal for the afternoon.
Well, that's what happened with me.
Tablet time, right?
He does get some tablet time, and people have compensated him. By the way, if you guys are in the chat, super chatting, I'll get to you, I promise. But we're going to have a conversation up top and get things rolling.
I had to join your channel just so I could say hello to people in the chat. So
I know. I saw that. I saw Dr. Steve got himself a member. He didn't have to get gifted one. Thanks for becoming a YouTube member, Dr. Steve. And the reason why I asked you to do the show is because I took a week off. I plan on taking the whole month off. But you get drugged back in. But the reason why is like I'm over it. Like I'm sick of John. I'm sick of Steel Toe. It gets to the point where like I'm going, like you said, you start Reddit. I go on Reddit. I'm like, do I got to really talk about these guys today? Like, I'm just not into it. And not only that, some of the fans who pretend like they're loyal and diehard, they'll turn on you just like that for little chat room clout or whatever that is. And I'm just like, who are these people? they're all disposable. Like this isn't making me happy. My relationships in my life, my friendships that I have, the people I'm with, those are the ones making me happy. So what am I doing? Like, why am I doing this? And I just wasn't feeling it any longer. And that's why I was like, what's the end game with all of this? Because
it's easy content. That's the thing. You have a target and, what did they do today? I mean, if you look at, were you on the Opie and Anthony subreddit? Tony might have been.
I remember
Tony
those days,
was.
yeah.
Okay. You remember when the Patrick Tomlinson stuff started? And all he did, well, he is an asshole, because I know people in the science fiction community.
Look how popular.
Okay, wow. He just said, I don't find Norm Macdonald that funny, and they just kind of went after him a little bit, and his response was so over the top that now it's still going on. And Opie and Anthony were still on the air when all of this shit started. And, it's so, I mean, look at Kiwi Farms too. I mean, it's just, these things go on and on and on. And a lot of it is the target. It's always the target. If the target was ignoring these people, that would stop. But it's always the target, the classic lol target, someone that's responding to this stuff because they have their dopamine hits that they got to get too. I mean, Patrick Tomlinson's one of the most prolific Twitter users I've ever seen. He's hundreds of tweets a day responding to all his critics.
I'm proud to say I've only been to Kiwi Farms twice, and I don't know. It's so hard to navigate. I've never gone back, so I don't know. Whatever's going on over there, I'm out. So
I don't know what's going on there, but I'm not criticizing. I don't know anything about it, so it's like 4chan. I've never been on there. I'm too much of a boomer, but Reddit's more my style because it's more reminiscent of the bulletin boards that I was on when there was 300 baud bulletin boards, but. So there is other content out there, but then you got to get all started again. This is too easy. You can settle right into that dopamine rush very easy. Whereas if you got to go out and find somebody else to make fun of or just cover or whatever, it's harder to do that because you got to start all over again. So what are you going to do?
It's like I'm going into year 3 of this nonsense, and I never wanted a part of it. I just became a target. And I can honestly say Aaron Emholt, Steel Toe, is the one that brought me in, because his direct quote was, he's the next Stuttering John. Carl has John, Chad's my John. And he just began attacking me nonstop every day for months. And I was like, I don't even want to learn this clown's name. And he was doing it to impress Kumia and Carl because he was trying to get in with those guys. And he did. And now it's years later, flipped in reverse. Now he's the guy they're all making fun of. And I'm stuck in this shit, and I'm trying to pivot because it gets old. Like I'm not interested in it sometimes. Sometimes it's interesting and fun, but it's just, to me, I'm just like, I'm good. I don't need to deal with the Patrick Melton haters. I'm good.
What else are you interested in? You were on my show a while back when we just talked about getting out of this altogether.
Yeah, there's a pivot, but you said something about the financial thing from it, which has been at times very lucrative for me. It's up and down. It's a roller coaster, but I go and do other things. Like I do a public access show with Tony when his Wi-Fi works, and it's fun to do, but it's not a lucrative show, And I did some with Earl Skakel where we talked about 80s bad guy movies. Yeah, great show. Nobody likes it.
Hilarious.
Earl's the best, and very funny. And every time I try to do something else, it's just they want that, like you said, that drama. They want to talk that about Aaron and everybody else, and it's just, all right, I'll do it. But at the same time,
go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, at the same time, I'm just like, at times I'm interested, but there's times where like I'm just not into it. Like I went home last week to Northeast Ohio to do a bunch of stuff and visit friends, and it was so much fun just to get away. I talked some shit on Twitter.
I didn't know anything about any of this shit. You didn't have to.
I wasn't watching the clips or anything like that, but I was, I was on Twitter talking trash because that's what it's for.
Right.
But
Well, I got my start in media working for the Crockett Brothers at WRAL TV doing championship wrestling.
no
And
way.
it's the same thing. Yeah, I worked with Ric Flair, Wahoo McDaniel, Mr. Wrestling, Tim Woods, Baron Von Raschke, Ricky
This Ric
Steamboat.
Flair? Woo! That's my neighbor.
Is that right?
He lives
Well,
down. He lives,
I'm quite sure he wouldn't remember me, but we worked in the same studio every Wednesday doing Mid-Atlantic Championship Wrestling and Wide World of Wrestling. Plus, we had to do 70 of those ads that they used to run. This week in Dorton Arena, a Texas Chainsaw match, and then you'd have Blackjack Mulligan. Wahoo McDaniel, if you're listening, it's the same thing. It was exactly the same thing as what all this is.
and it could become a gray area at times too, because I'm assuming I've talked to enough wrestlers that even though it's a work, sometimes it blends. It's not black or white.
They're human beings.
Yeah, so
And they're
sometimes
gonna
like
be
the
pissed
feuds
at
get
somebody.
real.
They might not do a move exactly the way they're supposed to, so it hurts the other person. Then they get pissed, and it becomes real. Yeah,
There's a legendary story of Sid Vicious getting stabbing Arn Anderson, stabbing Sid Vicious in a bar, like over something. I don't remember what it was. The late Sid Vicious, but
I wanted to know: was Ric Flair this much of a drunk back then when you worked with him?
I never saw him drink, and I never smelled it, any of that. So I don't know
You
that he
didn't
is
smell
a drunk.
the shit that was on him.
No, it was
He's at
just
bars doing that.
They were very professional. The only time that they kind of broke the professional code was when we had a really pretty woman in the studio doing the commercials with them, because back then it was just them. And Gene and Ole would be, they go, okay, Flair and, Von Raschke, you're up next. And then they'd say, Wahoo McDaniel, if you're listening. Of course he was listening. He's sitting right there. We had to do 70 of these fucking things because we had 35 markets, right? And they were very professional. They'd get up and do their thing and then just sit back down, eat their lunch or do whatever. But one time we had a really pretty woman running the camera down there because they were the only crew member in the studio with them. And they'd walk by her and burp and fart. And one guy dropped his pants, oops, and stuff like that. It was really funny. And we just resolved that we could never do that again and have a woman in there. And that was it. That was the only time I ever saw any sort of unprofessional behavior whatsoever out of any of them. They'd answer their letters. They'd get this. We had a grand piano just piled with fan mail and stuff. And they would go through them. And, they were doing a job.
Chad, did you know also in Dr. Steve's early days, he was caught on the news streaking?
That is true.
I did not know that.
Yeah. Mangum Hall, University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill. One of the guys in my dorm worked for the CBS affiliate. And they, when we were doing the streaking, and I could tell you the whole streaking story is ridiculous.
Was this right around the time of the Ray Stevens song?
No, it was before. I'm quite sure it was before that because he wrote it about this phenomenon. And, but I'm not 100% sure. But University of North Carolina is one of the first places that I don't know why it became a thing there. But I had a Groucho Marx, mask on, the glasses and the nose and the mustache, and a tie around my neck, and that was it. And we filled up my dorm all the way to the 6th floor, and then just emptied it out as people were coming out of this big sort of door where they would bring equipment in. And we went out, and there I am on Walter Cronkite, because the guy from the CBS affiliate videotaped it, got the camera crew out there, and then sent it to the network, and they ran it at the very end. Cronkite always runs some sort of funny fluff piece at the end of his thing, and there I am. I was like, it was idiotic. Now, let me tell you one thing though. There was a huge group of us, right? And there was a huge crowd outside, and they parted the ways for this group of people. Well, we get to the library, and about a quarter of the group said, let's streak the library. So we go running through the library, and when we get out of there, the other group is gone. And when we got back to the dorm, the other group had already come in. The crowd had parted for them, and they were back in getting their clothes on. And here we are. We show up, and there's just this impenetrable wall of people, and they're looking at us like, who the fuck are these guys? Now, I understand the whole Adam and Eve thing all of a sudden, because when you're streaking with a bunch of people and everything's cool, you don't think about the fact that you don't have any clothes on. When all of a sudden you're trying to work your way through a crowd to get back to your dorm because the crowd's already closed up, all of a sudden you realize you're fucking naked.
Yeah.
That was not cool. I had a girl from my class who I was really interested in come up and go, you guys were great. And it's like, can I just go in and get clothes on and we'll have this conversation? So anyway.
It's better than Adam and Steve, right, Tony?
Oh, there you go.
It was the 70s
All right,
for you.
Unfortunately,
Anyway,
there are people in the super chats. If you got a question,
Yeah.
I want to do this real quick. And we were talking before the camera about how you got into this. We were talking about Jim Norton, so we're going to get to that in a second. But leading the charge is your head moderator, Bill from Jersey, gifting a membership. Thank you, Bill. He's a big O&A guy, so he's listening.
Yeah.
Brian Landon,
Damn.
holy balls! Look at this guy. Hasn't arrived, but thanks. Anyway, Dr. Steve, why won't Sorcerer use his real name? Is that the best approach?
I don't know. I can't answer for somebody else. You got to ask him. I met him at Hackamania. He's about 8 feet tall.
He's a tall
Very
fella.
quiet, mild-mannered guy. But I haven't. He was talking about wanting to get on and do a show then, and I told him I would help him, if he needed it. But that's all. I don't know anything about him.
He played college basketball. I know that.
Did he? Okay,
Yeah.
well that makes sense. That tracks.
Yeah. So
Sorry, Brian, for $99. That was a terrible answer.
Docs. Thank you, Brian. I sent him the steel toe brewing hat. So let me know when it gets there. Look who became a member, everybody. Dr. Steve.
I was trying to say hello to people in your chat and it wouldn't let me, so I had to join the channel.
Fuck yeah, man. And then Maud Levy gifted not one, but 2 memberships. Whatcha? Thank you, Maudie. And Kenya KK. We love KK here. This is a friend of mine. She's gifting a membership. We love her. She's a big Dr. Steve fan, so she was excited you were on the show.
Wow.
We have a moderator DM chat where Crumb Bomb and all of us talk, and she's like, he's the best. Dr. Steve is the man. Thank you for what you're doing for justice in the Dabbleverse.
Thank you for thinking so.
And of course, Gil Bravo has become a member. Now, I'm glad I asked you that right out of the gate, because there is a lot of speculation that Carl and Shuli are just grifting that. But you
they
saw.
can't. Let me tell you how the GoFundMe works, because I didn't know this. When they by the way, GoFundMe kind of sucks because they don't tell you everything. You have to set the thing up before they tell you how the system works. So you can't go in there and go, okay, I'm going to compare this one to this one. You just have to set it up with blind faith. And then they go, you can send the money to yourself. And I didn't want to do that. I wanted to send it directly to Ceballos and Wong. And, or you can have a business, an external business, send in their banking information. So I asked Danny Ceballos to do that. And now all of a sudden, once he did that, I have no control over the money. Carl has no control over the money. Shuli has no control over the money. When Ceballos opens that up, all of it gets vomited into his account. And I can tell you right now that even with the generosity of people out there raising like $30,000, it's not covering the whole nut. But every penny that goes to him is a penny that the plaintiff will not have to pay back if they're found liable for legal fees. I don't know if I said that already, but at least that's the way I see it.
You're welcome, Carl. I'm giving you a platform. You're welcome for the GoFundMe. Now, this is the transition I want to get into, because I know Tony's an expert in this area, because we're talking, you had a Jim Norton little sock puppet, and you were, there it is. And you're like, you're like, he's the reason I'm in all this. This is
That
this
looks
is
like
the guy.
Alfred Hitchcock.
It's Alfred Hitchcock.
Well, Norton kind of looks like it. But so
Yeah, no,
fuck
Jimmy is the
yeah.
reason that I'm here sitting. Yeah, there you go.
Fuck yeah. It was Norton that. So how'd that come about?
Home
'Cause I
run,
don't know.
Cumia, home run.
Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah. Now I was not aware of it. Like I don't know that a lot of the O&A lore. I was a Stern guy, so
I was
more
too.
Yeah, I came around on O&A like probably when they got on Sirius XM. Yeah. That's when I started paying attention. But I really was more or less the Stern guy. But how did you meet Norton, and how'd you get a part of that?
Well,
world?
back in the day when they first started, Jim and Anthony and later Ron Bennington too were on AOL Instant Messenger. And they were just dicking around talking to people. And I talked to Jim and I just said, hey, I love the show. And he said, oh, are you really a doctor? And I said, yeah. And he said, well, I have this lump on my scrotum. I can tell this because he told it on the air. And we talked about it, and it was like an inclusion cyst or something like that. You know, I walked him through, is it mobile? Is it painful? Is it, you know, the whole thing. So the next day he was on Opie and Anthony. He said, yeah, last night I was talking to this doctor from Tennessee. And I talked to him about this cyst on my nut. And Anthony said, well, of course, we know all the best doctors are in Tennessee, right? And it was very ironic in his approach, implying that, you know, I was some country bumpkin doctor, which I was, but it pissed me off. And I called them up. I said, what's your fucking fax number? And I faxed them my CV, you know, my resume, which at the time, you know, I was editor-in-chief of an international medical journal. I had about 100 articles in the medical literature, you know, stuff like that. I'm board certified in multiple specialties. And they thought that was funny. So they started calling me for things like, should E-Rock do the cinnamon challenge? And I'm like, no, it's incredibly dangerous. Don't let him do that. And of course they would do it anyway. Wow, that was fast.
Oh yeah, I'm good over.
Now you or Tony do that. I'm impressed.
It's my new producer, ESO. He just got out of jail.
So, you know, but they would do it anyway. But then I was behind the scenes for the longest time, never on the air. And then I just kind of crossed that line. And Opie had an announcement he made that we've got these golden tickets for the weekend. And I sent a message to Steve Carlisi, God rest his soul. Which
That's
Steve
terrible.
was.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, exactly. That was Steve. And he was really good about if I emailed him, he would email me right back. Whereas everybody else over there was a little bit more lackadaisical about it. So I told him I had an idea. I just made up a name on the fly. I said, we'll call it Weird Medicine. We'll talk about your out of shape listeners, and I'll tell weird medical stories and stuff like that. And he said, oh, I love the idea. I'll take it to him. And a month later we were in New York doing the show. So wow. There you go. So I would not be here sitting here talking to you today were it not for that chance meeting on AOL Instant Messenger, you know.
That golden ticket thing, that was like a couple of different shows. I think Laszlo was a part of it, I believe. Right. I think Ron and Fez, that's how they were able to get on XM as well, right?
Well, no, it was funny. He had the golden ticket, and when Ron and Fez signed, Ronnie came in the studio and said, I got a golden ticket, but he was just being funny.
Oh, okay.
It was, that was not real. They hired them because they had worked together before on WNEW, right?
Yeah.
And when they were doing ronandfez.com and all that stuff. So, and the Ron and Fez thing, that's a whole nother thing. That was the craziest show I've ever heard. The level of sort of crazy on that show was amazing. And I saw Fez down in Pinellas. I went when we were down there for that show in was it Largo?
Down here.
Yeah. I went by Fezzy's mom's house because I knew him, outside the show. And
what's so funny?
Sad when he died.
I was always late to the game on all this. Like I never got on Ron and Fez, but I got on Bennington. You know what I'm saying? I never got on Opie and Anthony, but I got on Cumia.
That's how you went Compound, right, on Cumia. Right?
Yeah, so I always missed the boat. Like I never got on live at Gotham on Comedy Central, but I got it on Access. Like I was always late to the game with all of it. But
yeah.
Oh, Tony, when did you start becoming an O&A fan and getting part of all that? Because you were like I think you were a pest, weren't you?
Yeah, kind of. I was in high school, I think, when they were on WNEW, and I remembered, ironically, because I don't think you were a part of the show, Dr. Steve, but they did a thing called "What the Hell Is That?" And it was a whole competition where people would come in with their crazy medical problems.
I did a version of that later on when they were at Sirius.
This was, I remember, it was 2001, and they were on WNEW. They were syndicated, and I came home from school, and I was doing homework. I don't know. That was a shock because I don't think I've done homework before then or since then. But I'm sitting around, and I'm listening to this show. And I'm like,
it was Dr. Phil.
Yeah, they're talking about all this crazy stuff on the radio going. And I'm saying, I've never heard any of this. How can they get away with this? They were talking about vaginas and clitoris and everything. And I'm saying, they can say that on the air? I know I hear Howard do it, but he's Howard. And I realized, I got to start listening to these guys. So I started getting really into Opie and Anthony. And then there was that Sex for Sam Part 3 thing.
Correct.
And they were off the air for nearly 4 years on regular radio. And I didn't have the money for XM at the time. So, but I was a Stern guy like all three of us and like pretty much everyone in the chat. And then it just, when Howard went to Sirius, and there was the David Lee Roth, Adam Carolla, and in our neck of the woods, Rover's Morning Glory got the job that Howard had in the syndicated markets. And it failed so bad, they had to actually resurrect Opie and Anthony back. And I really got back into that back in 2006.
Right. Yeah, they would do the terrestrial show and then do the walkover. That's the first time I ever met them. I went to the terrestrial station and then walked over with them and then did the, show in the studio. So I'd forgotten about that. That was a long time ago.
And it was funny because you think about when Stern was on regular radio and there was that line. There was that line where you didn't want to cross, and then if the FCC, you get enough calls and they get really upset by it. But there was some part of that, it was creative of how can we say certain things. And then Anthony had a bleep button. So he would say things and he would bleep himself.
Correct.
And it was how far can we take this before
you?
Yeah,
exactly.
Right.
And I liked that. And then when Stern went over to Sirius and he can kind of say whatever he wants, it took a little bit of that mystique away. So I kind of actually enjoyed what Opie and Anthony could try to do on regular radio with that show. And then you listen to the XM version and Club Soda Kenny would read off the dump report, where all the things where it's like, Louis C.K. at 8:45 said, "My mother's cunt."
It was brilliant. It was so good.
And it was, and I had met them. Chad and I had Opie on when you guys were getting along, and we had Opie.
I'm fine with Opie. Opie's always been fine. Like, I don't listen. Opie's always been very nice to me. I have nothing bad to say about Opie.
Opie greenlit my show, so I told Carl a long time ago I'll never shit on Opie.
Give yourself.
Yeah, and that's the same thing with Florentine. Florentine's like, I'll never shit on Opie. Like I was going through a divorce. He was paying me to. Whoa, what's that?
It's my version of give yourself a bell. Sorry.
Oh, okay. I just have an air horn.
But I told the story with Opie where I met them and Jim Norton and Rich Voss at Traveling Virus Tour.
Oh, great.
I was in college. I skipped out on school to go up and hang out with the guys, and I got a picture with them, and I wore a New York Mets shirt. I'm not a Mets fan, but I had a shirt because I played Little League Baseball, and the Mets were actually good at this time. So I thought Opie's going to look and say like, "Hey, I'm a Mets fan too. Great shirt." Never said any of that. And I just completely embarrassed myself. But we mentioned that to Opie, and he said, "Yeah, don't feel bad. I did that with Mike Myers. I wore a Toronto Maple Leafs jersey when he came in studio. Didn't say anything about it. So I was like, just don't feel bad about it."
Oh, Jim gave Ozzy Osbourne all those books, and he left them behind. I mean, how humiliating was that?
That's fantastic.
And just hearing Anthony going, "Oh no," that when he realized what had happened, it was too great. So the one thing I really liked about them that you never heard on Howard was if you bombed, it was almost more fun because then they would dissect it and then they would shit on you just constantly. And Howard really never allowed bombs in the studio, but O&A they relished in that stuff.
Well, it was real. That was why it was a real show. You had comics on there, and if they were trying to be overly funny and they bombed, they said, no, wait, what did you say? And we have to go rewind and listen to it. It was great.
Right.
That's what the beauty of that was, the hang. And that's why Joe Rogan's podcast became popular, because it was comics or people hanging out in the studio.
Right.
And so it went away from the old Morning Zoo type or even the Howard type where, yeah, everything was very polished, to we kind of like it being unpolished.
Yeah, Joe Rogan freely admits that he got his inspiration from them, particularly Anthony in the end. But in the beginning also, you know, Opie and Anthony, when he would hang out, and Ed Asner called Opie the Destroyer and then misnamed him as Anthony, which Opie loved. I mean, there were some great moments. But Rogan was there and he saw that and he said the hang, that's the key to this. So
kind of evolved into podcasting, which is funny. I'm going to get your super chats. If you have a question for Tony or Steve, let us know. But it's funny. This is crazy. This is a perfect plug. So right before the show, I got a phone call from Godfrey. He's like, hey, can you open me? I'm at the Miami Improv all weekend. I'm like, yeah, that's 4.5 hours away. It's not happening. I can't. Plus I'm talking to Dr. Steve. And then right after that, I get a phone call from Soul Joel, who does comedy. And he goes, hey man, what are you doing tomorrow? And I go, nothing. He's like, you want to open for Jackie Martling, the joke man in Clearwater? I go, really? He goes, yeah. I go, yeah. So tomorrow I'm opening for Jackie the Joke Man at Muggs in Clearwater, Florida, 7:00 show.
Oh, that's cool.
I fell into it. So it's like, it's kind of fun. I'm like, yeah, I'm open. That'll be fun. I'll do it. Yeah. So speaking of Stern, there you go.
Yeah, really. That's awesome.
I remember I called into Weird Medicine one time, and you actually answered this, but I'd love to hear your answer again, Dr. Steve.
Okay.
I called and said, not to dox you or anything, but has anyone ever seen you at in practice or at an event and said, hey, aren't you Dr. Steve? You sound like Dr. Steve. And you mentioned something. You're like, what do you mean? I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, no, yes, it's happened several times. My wife always gets kind of irritated because she's not in this world. And, you know, we were just in line in Hawaii, and, you know,
someone's doing well.
Yeah, let me
look at you.
We actually won the trip, but, you know, we were in Hawaii and we're in line to leave. And I said, I wonder, you know, if you have a baby, because at that time we had little kids, and I was just musing out loud, you know, if you have a baby and now all of a sudden there are 3 ounces of fluid, how do you have a baby bottle on there? And this guy turned around and said, I knew that was you. And I just had to say the word fluid, and he knew he was an Opie and Anthony fan. But I actually, how can I tell this story? I had someone who was close to the end of their days who recognized me from my voice too. And the thing he said is, you know Kumia? And I'm like, huh? And he's like, you know Kumia? And I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. He said, oh yeah, you do. He recognized my voice. So I finally had to cop to it. In the beginning, I was really trying to be coy with it. And now I'm closer to retirement. I'm a little less worried about it. But
yeah. So it's worse things to be known for, you know?
Right. Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, just being on the operating table and having somebody saying like, Ramon, bring me the forceps.
Be funny. Fucking Ramon.
All right, there's some people in the chat want to ask some questions here. Okay. Billy, what is this? Billy Leash? I want to say it the right way, but I don't know.
Yeah, no, I would be really pissed.
Dr. Steve, if Kate privately recorded you, how would you feel?
Yeah.
How do you stand on it? If he was morally right or wrong? But he knew. He said that he knew Kate was recording him.
Yeah,
according to John.
And then he says, well, I was humiliated. And so, of course, I said that because, you know, to save face. So I don't know. I think that if I was Pat O'Brien, I would be absolutely mortified that somebody put those tapes out. And thank God that on terrestrial radio, you know, they couldn't really, every other word had to be bleeped out. On Howard's show, or it was Opie and Anthony, they could play the whole thing.
The greatest tapes that were ever recorded was Mel Gibson. I was on the radio.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was on the radio in Cleveland at the time, and I think Radar Online was releasing them once a day. It was like Christmas for radio guys. We're like,
right,
we got more
Mel Gibson
tapes.
I'd be so pissed, and I would be very
You
humiliated.
make me want to smoke.
You say, you should blow me.
You should blow me.
You say things to people in your life, and it's a very intimate moment, and though you don't want those out there, So I would be very disturbed if somebody did that to me. So I do understand it. Now,
there's another one from Diablo.
Legally,
Sandwich.
it's a whole nother story. There's precedence in the law. I mean, what happened to Mel Gibson's wife? Nothing. What happened to the person that released the Pat O'Brien stuff? Nothing. Because it was considered newsworthy. So we'll see.
See what happens. Diablo Sandwich. Dr. Steve, you're a legend. About Fez. Were any of the later on-air problems played up as a work, or was he really that disconnected for all those years?
Yeah. With Ron and Fez, you never knew if it was a long con or not. But when I would see Fez down there, and I mean, I can talk about some of this now because he's passed and I don't think he'd mind, but I did a service for him. Let's just put it that way. That was successful.
I bet you did.
And it helped him and to be able to get some income. And he was at that time, since he was off the air, was very engaging. And so that made me think maybe some of that was just, but I could never ask him that, was that real or not? But he had severe crippling anxiety. And I think over the years, it just got worse. And the disconnect was part of the charm of the show in some ways, but Ron really sounded frustrated with him sometimes, and I think they'd worked together for so long. Surely there were some of that was real, just like the wrestlers, just like the other things that we've been talking about. But separating reality, I think even if you asked Eastside Dave, he would be hard pressed to say what out of everything that they did, what was a work and what wasn't. He might even just say it was all a work, because Bennington is a completely different show.
I mean, but Ron is so good at that. Like
I know,
I've done the Bennington like maybe 4 or 5 times, and he would just start in the moment, like making something happen. And I go, is this real?
Yeah,
is this,
it's incredible.
With Black Earl. And I go, what's going on right now? So I have nothing but great things to say about Ron Bennington. He's amazing.
Yeah. Same. And we had a little issue that kind of was unfortunate. He had emailed me at one point and said, if you and I did a show like Loveline, we would blow, those guys out of the water. And I said, well, let's do it. So I was coming to New York and we did a show together, and the phones weren't working, so we couldn't take calls. And he and I ended up talking about addiction for like an hour. And during this time, there was a guy in there that's it's a friend of mine, drinking beers and smoking on the vape pen. And, I'm just trying to focus on, and then E-Rock was raising hell about the phone's not working and this guy being in the studio and all this stuff. And E-Rock was really trying to help me, but I felt.
Every time you say E-Rock, I'm going to put his photo up.
That's fine. And I felt this wasn't what I had planned on. And the fact that nobody was calling in made it look like Ron was looking at that going like, nobody gives a shit about my show. Nobody's calling in. But normally the phone bank was completely packed. The people were getting busy signals and stuff. So I was kind of freaking out. Well, after that, I didn't realize it triggered Ron because we were talking about copping and, his history with drugs and alcohol and stuff like that. And in his mind, it transformed into, he felt kind of betrayed by me because he thought that I had brought that guy into the studio to drink in front of him while he's talking about alcoholism. I had nothing to do with that. And, there was a little rift between us for a while, and we had an email back and forth, but our friendship's never been the same after that. And that's something I really regret because I feel, I lost a friend in that thing. We're still friendly, but we're not like we were. So anyway.
All right, somebody clip it and send it to Ron. Send this to Ron.
No, don't.
We're going to fix stuff.
I don't want to bring it all up again.
Well, I'm sure this guy's watching right now.
I hope he knows I love him. So
yeah. Dr. Steve, Kevin Brennan likes to use Chad's guest, even Tony Mazur, if you can believe it.
Tony's
Is your blood pressure stable enough to appear on MLC again?
Yeah, my blood pressure's good. So finally, it's good. My cholesterol's good. My blood pressure's good. So yeah, I'm ready. Kevin, and I've talked to Kevin on the phone. He and I have always gotten along. I don't keep up on all the Kevin stuff, so I don't really know what's going on. I know that I saw one clip where he was yelling at Karmic X about something with Gilly. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on with Kevin. I don't keep up on it. I used to be, you guys know this, you used to be able to keep up on everything. There was Cardiff and there was WATP and there was Kevin, and then it exploded, and I just can't keep up on everything anymore. You have to pick and choose what you're.
That means you have a life.
Yeah, that's the thing. I really can only watch clips anymore. I can't watch whole shows.
Yeah, the Clippers, like, they do the Lord's work at times.
Thank God for Doom.
Well, if you're on Doom's good side, but if you're not, he'll try to ruin your life.
Really? I mean, all I see is Doom clipping stuff. So
yeah, I mean, just the people he likes. He doesn't. Okay. I'm not one of them anymore.
I see. Okay.
But shout out to the Clippers. Go support them if you can. They're out there.
Yeah, there you go.
They're making more money than me.
Well, it's like the Reader's Digest of this universe.
It felt kind of weird. It had been around COVID time where like you said, Dr. Steve, you kept up with everything, and then all of a sudden it just became too much. Was it around that time, or was it when the Stuttering John, Uncle Rico stuff was happening? It felt like it was around that time where I just couldn't keep up with all the shows anymore.
Yeah. It was Uncle Rico, and then WATP started just focusing on John, and then there's Chad, and then Kevin, and all these just everything.
Bob Levy.
You can't keep up. Yeah, Bob Levy. You can't keep up.
Levy had like 9 shows at one time.
Yeah, right. You just can't keep up. How are you doing that?
You don't like Bob Levy?
You just have a stream deck? Is that how you're doing that?
Yeah, I got my whole thing. It's all here.
Oh, you got it figured out. Okay.
Yeah, good. A little bit. Not as, I'm going to buy a new computer tomorrow, and I'm going to get a camera. So I'm trying to put something into this. We'll see what happens.
Cool. Yeah.
Well, since you're a doctor, what would you say this is, and how could you cure it?
I want what he's having. Whatever.
What are your thoughts on Ray DeVito? By the way, one of the greatest shows. We might be coming back because Ray is coming back after me. The Ray DeVito. Honestly, what do you think's wrong with Ray DeVito? Like, what does he need to do? He has gout. He drinks every night. He's on prescription medication. Does he have a brain injury? What is your medical thoughts?
I was on his show at Hackamania 1. It was the first time I ever met Ray in person.
We watched it. We sniped it.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Yeah.
He just said, this is my health care. So he just asked me a bunch of medical questions because he wasn't getting health care. So I think, I don't know. Ray, he was very nice. And that night, by the way, he did stand up, and that was a very receptive crowd, but he killed that night.
You got a standing ovation coming out. He still talks about it.
Yeah, it was great. And it was really fun to see him get that kind of response, because I don't think he was expecting it. I think he was expecting the crowd to just shit on him because people love to shit on him. And I like the fact that Ray fathered Tukey by jizzing into a puppet. And, I don't know. I don't know Ray well enough to diagnose him. He's never asked me to diagnose him. He just seems like he's
an idiot.
maybe that's the word. That used to be a medical term, moron and idiot, and all those things were at one time medical terms.
How much would it cost? How much would it cost for people to send Ray DeVito money so he can get a Tukey tattoo? No AI.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, Ray will do anything for money. Hey, Dr. Steve, I did this for free. Look.
Break your fucking face tonight. Give me something to
Was Rocco on the other end of that?
Yeah.
That's
He's like,
hilarious.
Stop it. You're hurting my hand. Stop.
When was that?
That was an AC last year.
AC.
Yeah.
Is the AC thing, should I go to that?
I wouldn't recommend it. It's,
Okay.
I mean, it's it's cool meeting up with some people that you don't put a face with and a name.
Yeah.
Last year it was kind of a clusterfuck. We tried to do a live podcast and the owners canceled it the night before. So we ended up having it in Kevin's room.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
And it was fun. It was cool.
Didn't everyone get COVID?
I think, yeah.
Was it a super spreader?
Yeah. Bill from Jersey got COVID. Like, yeah, it was
Jesus.
definitely a super spreader. And I'm on the fence of doing it again, but if Kevin does a live MLC and like we get a penthouse suite where nobody can screw with it, I'll go up. I'll go and because I do want to meet some of the fans, not all of them, some of them, because some of them are pretty fucking cool and some of them are just raging douchebags.
We did that event a couple of years ago with Stuttering John, where actually Stuttering John was a very good audience member. Yeah,
we did a stand-up show. It was me, Gino, Kiki, who everyone loves right now, and then there was John. It was a cluster F. Like the mics didn't work. I'm always trying. It just doesn't always pan out.
Yeah, John was a good audience member, but he refused to go on stage to do a guest set.
Yeah, if you're a comic, you want to get on stage, but John did not want to get on stage.
Yeah. And then Kevin and Levy got into a fight.
Well, he knew what they would do with it.
Yeah, well, that's true.
Yeah, I can help with the technical stuff. That might be fun to do.
Yeah, Bob Levy threw a drink at Kevin, and they had to be separated. And Bob Levy got banned from the Borgata.
Wow.
So it was pretty. Yeah. So you might want to go. That stuff might happen. That's fun to watch from afar.
Okay.
Anyway. This is my 1% of my net worth. Go Mud Shark, go. Yes, thank you, Alex Ortiz out of Cleveland, Ohio. Appreciate that. That's very nice of you. But yeah, I think if we have it, if Dr. Steve goes, that would be fun.
I'd just go to just hang.
Tony Mazur, are you going to go if we go this year?
Yeah, I would go. I'd like to go to Atlantic City when it's not freezing cold outside. And then
we can go to Florentine's Super Bowl party the day after. That's the only reason I'd do it.
Yeah, that's why we did it 2 years ago now. And went up there, and I remember the next day I drove you. We went up to Florentine's after that, and John kept calling you. He's like, "Hey, let's go get a beer. Let's go drink somewhere."
Oh yeah, Stuttering John, like after the AC
Stuttering
thing.
John's in the back seat of my car, and Stuttering John's like he's calling you over and over. Hey, let's go get a beer. I'm still at the Borgata. He's like, John, I'm not here anymore.
Yeah. Well, that all changed when he called the police on me, the lieutenant of Cape Coral, because I put a sign on his door.
Well, you were trespassing.
Well, he said, come to my house. Like, I was like, okay. So I did. And then he calls the police.
Yeah.
Hypocrite police. Where is that? Yeah, here we go. Hypocrite police.
Oh, yay.
It's all dumb. It's all dumb.
Yeah.
But Tony, you got some more Dr. Steve questions because you wanted to sit in on this. And
well, what I find interesting about Dr. Steve and the
analyze him for once.
Either progression or regression of weird medicine is that people used to call you 20 years ago and say like, "Hey, Dr. Steve, why does my balls smell like onion?" And then now people are calling with legitimate medical problems, going like, "No, seriously, I have this lump and I don't know what's going on."
Yeah.
I can't tell if that's a progression or regression.
I don't know either. It was certainly funnier and more fun back then. COVID destroyed my show.
It destroyed Compound Media, I think, too.
Yeah, well, maybe
it destroyed Gino.
I mean, that's because all that for 2 years. That's all I could talk about, and I had my wife in here. Thank God she was here to be my co-host because we weren't letting other people in the studio because I was being stupid, and if I had to do it again, knowing what I now know, I would have welcomed getting COVID, even though it almost killed me the first time, just to get it over with. Because we were having to talk about, yes, natural immunity is a real thing. And my channel was getting strikes because I just happened to mention that clinicaltrials.gov had 72 trials on the I word, which is how I had to say it after that. It was ridiculous. So, I'm talking about ivermectin.
It's very Soviet Union like as we look back on it. Like we had to speak in code, and you had to use an exclamation mark instead of an I. It's just ridiculous.
Right, exactly. So when we first started that first night up in New York, when I did the very first show, October 12th or 13th on 20 whatever that was, 2007. 2007. 2007. 2007. 2007. 2007. 2007. 2007. 2007. 2007. 2007. 2007. 2007. 2007. 2007. 2007. 2007. 2007. 2007. 2007. 2007. 2007. 2007. 2007. 2007. 2007. 2007. 2007. 2007. 2007. 2007. 2007. 2007. 2007. 2007. 2007. 2007. 2007. 2007. 2007. 2007. 2007. 2007. 2007. 2007. 2007. 2007. 2007. 2007. 2007. 2007. 2007. 2007. 2007. 2007. 2007. 2007. 2007. 2007. 2007. 2007. 2007. 2007. 2007. 2007. 2007. 2007. 2007. 2007. 2007. 2007. 2007. 2007. 2007. 2007. 2007. 2007. 2007. 2007. 2007. 2007. 2007. 2007. 2007. 2007. 2007. 2007. 2007. 2007. 2007. 2007. 2007. 20 the phone banks were packed, and it was all people with dick and nut question, because there was all this pent up demand to get dick and nut questions that they worried about for 5 years. And now they had an outlet where they could ask some radio doctor about it. And so that carried us for a long time. And then you're right, it kind of transmogrified where we still get a few dick and nut questions, but it's mostly real questions now.
Now, I kind of thought this with Opie and Anthony, that this is my opinion, but it seemed like when Patrice O'Neill passed away, that it kind of took the steam out of the show a little bit.
Yeah.
Now, did you feel that way when P.A. John passed?
It was GVAC that passed.
GVAC,
P.A. John is still alive.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm killing off alive
yes.
people.
No, absolutely. He in a lot of ways, GVAC, who was a Ron and Fez guy who moved down here to Tennessee, he was kind of the heart and soul of the show for the time when he was on. At least that's the way I saw it. And he was really funny, and he was a very talented musician. Dr. Scott, who's not funny and not a talented musician, but he's, one of my best friends, wanted to learn how to be a musician. So GVAC took him on. He didn't have to do that. He showed him how to play a few chords and would encourage him. And that's when we started playing music at the end of the show, was just because GVAC was helping Scott to become a musician. And yeah, when he died, the show after that was just me, crying uncontrollably for an hour. And then it killed the show. Same way, that kind of thing, you're not expecting that to happen. We thought Patrice was going to live forever. It was crazy. Why would you think that? He had diabetes, he had high blood pressure, he had all kinds of stuff going. GVAC, I thought we'd be still doing shows together.
Yeah, it kind of was like, it felt like listening to it, because I've been listening all these years. It felt like the show must go on.
Yeah, right. It was like, how do we just stop? No, I've got a picture of him playing the guitar, which was always the happiest he ever was. And, he watches over us. I know it's sappy, but yeah. So there you go.
I was like that when Ski Mask. I was like that when Ski Mask died. I was like, my show must still go on.
There you go. See,
ladies and gentlemen, we got a celebrity super chat coming in.
What the fuck is that?
Kevin Brennan, everybody, from the Misery Loves Company podcast. Dr. Steve, what is wrong with Stuttering John from a medical angle? This is from Kevin Brennan, Dr. Steve.
Sure. Well, I want to preface this, but I've never examined him. The only time I've ever talked to him is in Twitter DMs, where he's cursing me for being a coward or whatever, or for wearing a shirt. And so, from a medical standpoint, I can't make a diagnosis. But what I will tell you is that I've offered to help him with his, substance abuse multiple times. That's no secret. I think that's the biggest part of it. And there may be some arrested development there. There's a lot of things. You could come up with things. People have hypothesized that he's borderline personality disorder or narcissistic, all that stuff. When you have a substance abuse problem, it's hard to tease all that other stuff out because it affects your behavior. So I would still help him after all the,
awful things he said about you, and he was going to take your job, your license. He was going after your
that was not cool. That wasn't cool. And I don't know that he was the one that made the phone calls, but certainly somebody was stimulated by him to do that. And, Carl has said, don't call and try to get people's gigs canceled, but he gets blamed for it when that happens, right?
Well, they tried to do that with the first DabbleCon with me. They said I was trying to get it canceled, and I was like, I don't give a shit.
I'm sure you weren't doing that.
No, I didn't care, but I'm sure
people
some of these trolls
have said, "Oh, I'm chadzumock," or whatever, and that.
And I'm not defending John at all, because he actually legitimately called the police and got my gig canceled. So, yeah, I believe that John will go there. I mean, he struck my channel twice.
Ski Mask got your gigs canceled too, and he also had a bit of a substance abuse problem too.
Yeah. Now let me ask you this. So,
so
would you say Stuttering John's an alcoholic? your medical.
I can't make a diagnosis like that. And we don't say that anymore. We don't say people are diabetic anymore because we don't try to characterize the whole person by the disease that they might have. So it's a person with diabetes or what. I know it sounds very PC, but it's probably good not to, because it's not the whole person. So does he appear to have an issue with alcohol? He certainly appears that way. And if he felt that he needed help, I would help him with it, at least get him going in the right direction. But he says he doesn't. So there you go. What am I going to
Well, let me ask you a tougher question, because this one's going to be.
Hello, Kevin. Thank you for putting me on the spot like that.
Thank you, Kev. Well, let me ask you another question. Do you think Anthony Cumia is an alcoholic?
Okay. I have been with Anthony. I've talked to Anthony. I've been around him. And he definitely likes to drink, but I've not seen alcohol type behaviors when I've been around him ever.
Have you seen the video with Danny Brand?
I have seen that. Now, listen, we can all be, binge. We can all binge drink and say and do stupid ass shit. I certainly have done that. I was at P.A. John's brewery, and he had an Imperial IPA. Well, I didn't know that meant it's like 10 to 12 ABV, right?
Tony's probably drinking one right now.
These little, glasses. I'm like, why are you shorting us on the glasses? I drank like 5 of them, which was the equivalent of 15 beers. And by the end of the 5th one, I had my
Skol!
Yeah, right. That was me. And I'm a very pleasant, I'm a pleasant drunk, but I hug everybody and kiss everybody. And I kissed my research assistant, who is now practicing in Tampa, and told her I loved her, like a daughter, not like I was trying to do anything with her.
Okay.
But I just love everybody. And so, some people react to that differently. Yes, I've seen that video. It's not pleasant. I think Anthony agrees with that, but I've never seen that kind of behavior. You've been to his place before. You were at Compound a few times, right?
I was never at his house, just the one in the city.
Oh, you were at the one in the city.
Yeah, okay, I never did the house.
I mean, did you ever see any, behaviors that made you think that this person couldn't control their alcohol use? I've never seen that with him.
Right. Would you say
what
these
about
two?
Gino?
Yeah. What about Gino Bisconte? Is he an alcohol?
I've never been around him. I've been on his show once. I had a blast on his show, I will have to say. It was really fun. But
Gino's probably the most fun drunk I've ever been around. He's definitely top 5 of all time.
Yeah, it was fun.
Now, would you say these people are addicts?
Oh, sex addicts, maybe. I don't know. I can't. I don't know.
This kid tested positive for cocaine twice. That's not good.
That means it was absolutely in the environment, And the question is, did they do pee test or did they do a hair follicle test? Do you know?
I heard it was hair and blood.
Okay.
I could be wrong.
It was actually in their system. So
yeah, so that's not good. This guy gets a pass because everyone hates this guy so much. But I believe they're both.
Well,
scumbags.
I don't think there's any winners in that whole situation.
I have a legitimate drug question. Dr. Steve, you came of age during the time where, it was ass, gas, or grass. No one rides for free. And today with gummies and all this stuff, this ain't your grandfather's Mary Jane anymore.
No, it is not.
It almost seems like because take an edible or a chocolate or whatever, and it's like LSD. It's not the same high that you got from smoking a joint 20, 30, 40 years ago.
Right.
Do we... with the fact that it's legal almost all over the country right now, is it getting worse, and is it legitimately causing people to be addicted to marijuana now?
I got to be honest with you. I don't see that. What we see in the ER are people overdosing on fentanyl that's coming from across the border. Fentanyl's a great drug, but not when it's abused, because it is so potent.
Oh, that's the Kate Quigley. Go ahead.
Oh, I don't know. You don't know who that is. It is so potent that you can have, 20 million lethal doses in 1 kilogram. And so what happens is when they're stepping on this stuff, diluting it with, baby formula or whatever, some of the dealers are not exactly, Rhodes scholars, and they're like, well, okay, we'll just put a couple of teaspoons in there, not realizing that these bags are going out to the community and people are overdosing on them. That's what we're seeing. What I'm seeing with the pot thing is that we have a drug called Marinol that is used for chemotherapy, nausea and vomiting, and for anorexia, weight loss, loss of appetite in cancer patients and in patients with HIV. And now we can't get it. The manufacturer is out of business, and or they ran afoul of the FDA or something, and we can't get it anymore. But what we can get is hemp-derived THC in Tennessee, and we can get actual medical marijuana in Virginia. So now the Tennessee legislature, in their wisdom, is trying to make those dispensaries illegal. And I'm like, no, this is the only way that we can get this drug for our patients. So I'm all in favor of it being legal. I do think that you should sell it in places like ABC stores or, either federally or state licensed dispensaries. The DEA keeps talking about rescheduling marijuana to a Schedule III drug, which will require that it's written with a prescription. But that's a step in the right direction for me.
What about the recreational use of kratom? I've been noticing that uptick.
I have talked about that a bunch on my show. I think kratom is a fascinating drug. It has.
That's what Ray was using, right?
Was he? Okay.
Yeah, he
well, it has mu opioid receptor activity. In other words, that's the same as morphine.
And Carmex too.
But it also is an alkaloid. And so people have been using it for pain relief or to get themselves off of opioids. And because if you're going through withdrawal, it will help. But what breaks my heart about this is that people feel like they have to do this on their own. They just go to a head shop and buy this stuff and maybe get advice from the guy behind the counter. And I think it should be studied, and down the road should be, utilized in drug rehab and other things, and maybe even recreationally once we understand it better. We just don't understand the molecule well enough. I can't recommend it for, recreational use, but that's me, that's just me saying that we don't have the data. Other people will disagree with me, and that's fine. We can disagree.
Another medical question as far as drugs go. So obviously in the last couple of years, we've seen people taking Ozempic and using that as the miracle drug. And there's a lot of people saying, well, we don't really know the downstream effects of it and what you're going to do because you're losing weight right now, but then if you get off it, you're going to gain all this weight and it's not healthy.
And that does happen.
But at the same time, you say, well, we don't know what the effects are there. But then if you don't take it and you have somebody who is morbidly obese and their medical issues, the diabetes, all the other things, is it kind of like a damned if you do, damned if you don't?
No, it's
either way, you're trying to find some kind of medical intervention here. And does it seem like even if you have some side effects with Ozempic, it could still be cheaper than if you remained obese and had all these medical issues and you're in and out of the doctor every week?
Right. So the question that you have to ask is, are the risks outweighed by the benefits in this particular patient? So you have someone that's 700 pounds and they've tried everything and they don't want to do a bypass. They don't want to do all that stuff. Would the risks be less than the benefit from them losing 100 pounds? They still weigh 600 pounds. That's better.
Listen to this, Patrick Melton. Listen up. Go ahead.
The problem with drugs like semaglutide and those other drugs like that is they can induce thyroid tumors. They can induce thyroid cancer, pancreatitis, gallbladder disease, lots of things like that. And we don't have long-term data on using it for weight loss. We just know it works. We got some short-term data, but we really want that long-term data. Well, we're going to get it because if 10 years from now, people all of a sudden are dropping because of some weird tumor that was induced by that, then we'll know. But that's the only way we'll ever know.
It was like thalidomide back in the day.
Right. And the good news is with thalidomide, that was never in the United States, right? It was always in Europe, and the FDA,
the flipper hands.
The FDA catches all kinds of hell for being so deliberative and slow, but they protected this country from the ravages of thalidomide. And by the way, we use thalidomide and its analogs for cancer patients now. It's very effective in different kinds of cancer. So, it wasn't a complete waste of time to make that drug. Just don't give it to a pregnant woman.
Dare I call it weird medicine? Hey, we got a celebrity in chat. Ladies and gentlemen, from All American Orgy, it's Adam Bush.
Hey.
Dr. Steve's a national treasure. He must be protected at all costs.
No, the actor.
We got so many celebrities. Ladies and gentlemen, Tony
Adam Bush is one of the nicest people I've ever met. And he was at Hackmania too, and just a true gentleman. I really enjoyed meeting him. So
he called you a fucking asshole.
And he's a decent actor too. So
no, I know he's fine.
I'll watch anything he's in.
I want to get him on Kevin's show. I think it'd be funny.
Yeah, he can hold his own with anybody. He's very smart.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Another guy who I've grown to like a lot is another guy who is friends with John. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Vince, evil lawyer.
Is that really Vince?
I think so. How can a respected doctor align himself with Anthony Cumia, a man widely known?
Vince, do you have any friends that you don't agree with the things that they do, but they're your friends? That's the only thing in my defense. That's what I can say. He's my friend.
Were you in a Young Republicans group chat recently?
No, but
timely humor.
And Vince, I align myself with. Do I align myself? He's my friend. I've got a lot of friends, and they all have a lot of different views. I was a delegate for Jerry Brown and an alternate delegate for Jerry Brown in the state of Vermont when I was there. So, my political, I'm all over the place with my political spectrum. Do I enjoy racist comment or content? No, I do not. But Anthony's also very, very funny and very quick and very smart. And he's also very generous and a good friend. So, I don't know what to tell you. Thank you, Vince. Thanks for putting me on the spot. Jesus Christ.
Oh, that guy's a piece of work.
No, listen, I was a fan of Vince's when he was messing with High Pitch Eric.
Yeah.
They were doing that 20. That was hilarious. I mean, it was brilliant. So
I've come around on Vince. He actually fucking with John is hilarious.
He's funny. He's really funny. And the things that he says now are when he's agreeing with John, but you can tell that he's actually setting him up.
100%.
And I don't want to say too much because I don't want to ruin it because it really is funny.
Like literally everyone sees it except John. It's so
brilliant. He's the best. There's
Speaking
no better troll than Vince.
Speaking of drunks, Jimmy the Drunk. Steve, who wins in a boxing ring? Stuttering John or me? Oh,
what's your reach? You're pretty tall, aren't you?
I'm 5'9".
Oh, really? Okay, so am I.
Not that tall, but we'll measure each other when we come down down here in Tampa.
Okay. Oh boy!
Wow, you guys are coming out with some great. Doc is an impressionable Minnesotan streamer experiencing puppy love with a female comic. Has started using what is that?
Methylene blue.
Drink. Is it safe? Oh, he's talking about Carmix and Felicia.
You're just now getting that from.
I'm just getting caught up. Like I took a week off of. So I'm getting back into the rhythm. I like just covering Tony with the super chats. That's my favorite thing to do.
The weird thing about methylene blue is it's a dye. It's a blue dye, hence the name. But it has all kinds of weird medical uses. We used to when I was in training, we learned about using it in methemoglobinemia, which is where people can't transmit oxygen. And they get meth hemoglobin instead of regular hemoglobin. And you can treat it with methylene blue. People are using it now for certain types of poisoning like cyanide and carbon monoxide. They use it for blood pressure, improving cardiac function, all kinds of stuff. So, yeah, I wouldn't overdose on it for sure. And I'm not recommending it for people if they don't need it. But I don't think it's, people are using it as an anti-aging drug. Carmick is young though, right?
I think he's 42, 41.
Okay.
So, I mean, relatively
He
young.
sounds to me like Joe Flaherty did when he would do his Canadian accent up on SCTV.
Are you speaking Tony's language right now?
Oh,
Sure.
yeah. Oh, I might be right and I might be wrong. I don't know, Alex. You know, that it's to me, that's what Carmick sounds like. It's pretty
That's
funny.
what was it? The
High IQ Bowl.
yeah, high Q, yeah.
Yeah, IQ Bowl.
Oh man, we just opened the SCTV gates with
Oh, no,
Tony.
With Lawrence Orbach.
Right, right. Lawrence. Hey, was he the one that would offer to help? Oh, we'll talk about this later.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he
Yeah, I got a spanner wrench in the back there. I can help fix his button there.
Oh yeah, that was Rick Moranis. Yeah, that's right. He's
Right.
like, yeah, hey, I got
Or Dave Thomas. That was Dave Thomas.
Yeah.
Anyway, nobody cares.
I think
We'll
we can
talk
all
about this
agree
later.
the
You
Michael
and I have a lot
McDonald
to talk about.
the Michael McDonald sketch with Rick Moranis is the greatest
Oh my
sketch of all
God,
time.
it was so great.
I have it on my YouTube channel. It's like that's how great it is. It has like 50,000 views. It's crazy.
And the Jackie Rogers Sr. bit where he dies
with Martin Short.
with Martin Short, yeah, and he's like, he was up in a tree and a cougar or something drags him out of the tree and eats him, and he sings to a squirrel, I've never, oh, pardon me, miss, but I've never done this with a real live squirrel. It was just so ridiculous, but so perfectly Vegas, feel. But anyway, nobody cares.
No, I care.
No,
No, you
I
trust me.
Watch the John Candy documentary, and you'll see everybody in SCTV. That Catherine O'Hara, Eugene Levy and Dave Thomas. They were all part of it. Apparently, that Scorsese did I think Jimmy Kimmel was the moderators, 2018, and they brought everybody back: Joe Flaherty,
Oh,
Rick
wow.
Moranis, and it's been shelved and it hasn't come out. I don't know what happened to it.
Oh, I'd love to see that. I'm so old school that I had a black and white TV, and SCTV would come on, if I remember right, on Friday nights, and we didn't have VCRs, so I put my cassette recorder and I would record it. And then
Yeah, it was such a great show.
It was so good.
It was so brilliant, and I don't know what happened, and I got a chance to talk to Dave Thomas, and I also had Colin Mockery on my podcast. Check your
Really?
podcast.
Did at one point did Dave Thomas go, how old are you? Because you knew everything.
He did. He's like, because I was asking him about
How do you know
developing
all this
deals
shit?
and Grace Under Fire and dealing with Brett Butler. And
Jesus.
I think I might even asked him, I said, who was more talented, Brett Butler, the comedian, or the outfielder for the Cleveland Indians back in the day? But
He was on Arrested Development too.
Yeah, that's true.
Yep.
And but I said I remember talking to Colin Mockery, and I said, "What is it about that you guys at that one time in Canada with Kids in the Hall, SCTV, and Second City that you guys just produce so much talent at one time?"
And what was his answer?
He's just like, I don't know, must be in the water, must be in the maple syrup. I think.
Yeah. It was incredible.
I got kicked off there. I apologize.
Or the back bacon.
A couple people have a couple questions. Doc, have you ever been to the Muttering Museum in Philadelphia? I actually saw this. It's an actual thing.
What is it?
The Muttering Museum. What is this? At the college? It's real.
Muttering J Museum?
That's what I thought.
No, it's a Muttering Museum.
The Mutter Museum of the College of it's a medical museum.
Medical history and science located.
No,
in the
I have
center.
not.
Oh, okay.
But I do have some medical history in my family, which I can't really talk about because it doxes the shit out of me.
Oh, have you ever been to the Rocky statue?
No. Oh, in Philadelphia? Yeah. I went there with Ron Bennington once for Opie's wedding. We were in Opie's wedding.
What, Opie had at the Rocky statue?
No. But
was Bam Margera in attendance?
No, he was not. Ron knows Philadelphia really well, and so we rented a limo and just drove around. He showed us everything.
It's so weird.
And we stopped at this place, and this woman walked over to the thing, and she was like, "What's up, babe?" And she had a hat that said "I heart rim jobs," and we liked that so much. I had a bunch of them made and set up there too.
Oh, that makes sense because Bennington's a big Eagles fan. So,
there you go.
That makes sense.
But yeah, he showed us the city. It was pretty cool.
D Waver became a member. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Have fun in the chat. Okay, this one's for you, Doc. This is from Jerry. I don't know what this is.
I don't understand this one. What's Shepherd? Who's Shepherdini?
Is that it? Might be some in
one of us.
Is this for for a friend. Might be Stuttering John related. Who knows?
I don't know.
Sometimes these people
feel free to put a free chat in there explaining that.
Okay. Yeah, if you guys know, this is great, Z-Man. Leg all healed.
Jerry Shepherdini. Oh, drinking cum. Oh, okay.
Oh, come on.
All right.
That's not cool.
Yeah.
I mean, who would?
If you go to shepherdini.com, there's a bunch of pictures and there's one drawing with
who would do that?
Semen coming out of his mouth. So
who would drink cum?
And here's a nut sack. Great, thank you.
Oh,
now I've got this in my memory bag.
Yeah, thanks, buddy. Grow up. Thanks, Jerry. Just threw us all off.
Yep.
This is great, Z-Man. Leg. Do you know this guy? Leg all healed, Dr. Steve. Thank you.
Oh, no, I don't know him by that name, but I probably know him from another email exchange.
What's it like to help?
I'm glad
people?
your leg is. You help people. You help people in some way, I'm sure.
How?
I don't know.
How do I help people? I make people mad. They get angry at me.
Well, that's not necessarily a bad thing.
They get upset.
No, dopamine release.
Right. Very good. I do enjoy it. I was going nowhere working in a CB radio store when I decided to go to medical
CB
school.
radio.
Yeah. After WRAL, I got tired of people who were dumber than me yelling at me all the time for stupid stuff, just power trip stuff. And so I left there and I didn't have a job for a while working in a CB radio store.
What are your thoughts on the Convoy song?
Well, I wrote a better one.
Oh, yeah?
Called CB Alien. It was a Red. Do you know who Red Sovine was?
Yes. He did the
Of course,
Teddy
Tony
Bear.
does. I have no idea.
Yes, Tony. You and I got to talk. We've got a lot of things in common. But I did a Red Sovine parody called CB Alien, where instead of the little boy in the wheelchair, it was an alien talking to all the truckers.
We got a great good convoy crashing through the night. What was that? CB McCall?
Yeah, C.W. McCall.
C.W. McCall, yeah.
What was top 5 greatest trucker movies all time? I'll go first. Number 1, Smoking the Bandit. Number 2, Convoy. Number 3, White Line Fever with Jan Michael Vincent.
That's a good one.
That's a deep cut. Number 4, Black Dog with Patrick Swayze.
Jesus.
Yeah, I'll name my trucker movies. And I don't know if, it's a TV show, BJ and the Bear with Greg Evigan.
Wow.
I don't know.
I'm going to pass.
Chad, you want me to get Greg Evigan on your podcast?
Can you?
He's coming to town. Yeah.
No shit.
Mm-hmm.
I want to talk to him about My Two Dads and BJ and the Bear for sure.
What about Ice Road? With
Ice Road Truckers.
Liam Neeson did a movie called Ice Road.
I remember that.
Has anyone seen the new Naked Gun?
No.
I watched half of it and I tapped out.
Was it just the repeating jokes from the first movie?
It was the same. And I was like, I'd rather see Leslie Nielsen do this with George Kennedy.
And OJ.
And OJ, yeah.
Right.
Oh, did you see the scientist in the movie died yesterday? He was 98. He's the one who gave him the cufflinks.
Oh, he died?
Yeah, great. I know.
Oh, good job.
No, it's good factoid.
Yeah.
I'm sure his family
with
is
Chuck
very
Norris.
devastated, and we're,
Oh, Crumb Bum in the chat. Over the Top, of course. That's a great trucker movie. Maximum Overdrive. Dick Fitzwell.
Yeah. Forgot about that.
God, this show went out the rails.
Sorry.
And no, it's fine.
Sure.
It's fine.
Wait, Chad, can you tell Dr. Steve your Airwolf Twitter story?
Yes.
We're doing the greatest hits at this point.
Yeah, because we only got a couple more minutes, so we'll tell some good stories. Thank you for your time, by the way, and thanks to everybody that super chatted. Thanks again to Brian Landon for the nice donation of $100. So I was a huge Airwolf fan from you remember the TV show from the 80s?
Yes, of course.
Yeah. So and my buddy Whitey, who calls into my show, the Drunk Dial Hotline, is Jan Michael Vincent from Airwolf.
Oh,
so we started a fake Jan Michael Vincent Twitter account when he was alive. And towards the end of Jan Michael Vincent's career, he became a big blackout drunk,
right?
Tons of DUIs. He actually lost his leg. Yeah, he actually lost his leg. They amputated it from alcoholism. Wow. That's how bad of a drunk he was. And if you remember Jan Michael Vincent in the 70s, he was like a handsome guy, like the Brad Pitt of the 70s.
Yeah.
Women loved him.
We were all jealous of him.
So we started this Jan Michael Vincent Twitter account. It still exists. And people thought it was the real Jan Michael Vincent. And we're just talking obnoxiously saying, get me some beer, send me money. And it got so big. Norm Macdonald started following it. David Spade.
Wow. And people were buying it because it made sense.
And it made sense. And Earl Skankel, and he can vouch for me, became a fan of this account. I didn't know Earl very well at the time. And Earl would always tweet at it, and Norm would DM it. And it got so big at one point. I was at the Comedy Store. I didn't know Earl very well at all. This was like 2015. I knew him, but I walked up to Earl. I go, "Hey, Earl." He goes, "Yeah." I go, "My name's chad-zumock, and I'm Jan Michael Vincent on Twitter." And his mouth dropped.
Wow.
You can ask. He's like, "You got to be kidding me." He's
That's
like,
awesome.
"That's you?" He's like, "You have no idea." And he took me to Adam the Booker, who books the Comedy Mothership, Rogan's Club. He's like, "That's Jan Michael Vincent." He's like, "No way." He took me to see David Spade, and David Spade was like, "Oh my God." It was like, yeah. I was like,
That's awesome.
yeah,
I
it
love
was like,
shit like that.
it was like cult following. It got
But
crazy.
didn't Norm, wasn't he disappointed though?
Totally. I still have the
I'm
DMs
sure he
from
was.
Norm. I still have the DMs that, like, he was like saying he was a childhood hero, and we were just tweeting. I felt bad because it's like Norm was a hero of mine, but I had to keep the shtick going, the
Sure.
wrestling shtick.
I have a similar story while you're looking that up.
Yeah, see, here's like Norm Macdonald. He would tweet.
Wow.
That's me.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah. So we go back
that
and
just
forth.
goes on and on.
Yeah, and it's the real Norm. It's
Of course. That's so great. Jeez.
so immature.
Yes, very much so. I had a similar thing, not quite at that, height, but when I accepted the invitation to go on Cardiff Electric's podcast, I thought it was Stuttering John, and I was disappointed to find out it was just some guy doing shtick.
Oh, you got trolled by, that's shocker.
Yeah, I thought he was the SJ Army, and I thought, actually, I'm so glad it worked out this way. And he said, "Hey, do you want to be on my podcast?" Because he called me a troll. And I was like, "Yeah, I'll come on your podcast." And I was sure that was Stuttering John asking me to be on his podcast. I was excited. This is way, way, way pre-Dabbleverse stuff. And when I looked at the Cardiff Electric podcast, I realized I was dealing with a mad genius, not Stuttering John. And back then, he would always have a story about a serial killer. And every time the serial killer's name was Carl. And he was he was doing that to fuck with Carl. And, but nobody was listening. And for the longest time, it was just my son and me. Yeah, there he is. So, but anyway.
Ari Jane here. She's an old friend of mine. Dr. Steve, can you bust the myth that consuming semen is nutritionally beneficial? Try to have fun in our hometown. I was just there, Ari. It was great.
Sure. And
she's a real person.
Ari Jane, I'm assuming that someone is trying to convince you to swallow loads saying that it's good for you. So what I can say is, semen contains, small amounts of nutrients for sure. Protein, prostaglandins, those are good for your stomach. Enzymes and citric acid and stuff, and some minerals. There's calcium, magnesium, zinc. Why all this stuff is in there, I don't know.
I'm getting hungry.
But it helps to support the sperm cells. And there is some vitamin C, but not enough to provide. I mean, you'd have to drink cups of the stuff for it to make any difference in your nutrition. And at that point, it would just make you sick to your stomach. So don't fall for that bullshit. People are just trying to manipulate you.
Even the citric, where if you ate nothing but citrus for a week, that it's going to taste like sweet nectar when it comes out.
Well, now that's a different thing. If you're into swallowing loads and you want it to taste a little bit better, citric, pineapple, those kinds of things. A lot of people feel that makes it taste better because you get those sugars in there from that. If you overload your system, you're going to secrete those sugars into lots of different fluid compartments in your body, and seminal vesicles may be one of them. So I've never done that study. I decline to do that study. But
so Ari, what Dr. Steve's saying, you can have a little bit tonight. A little semen won't hurt you.
Yeah, just don't let anybody manipulate you into swallowing their load because they're saying it's good for you. There was this thing at one point that it was good for depression. And, ketamine's good for depression too. And, lots of other things are good for depression. You don't have to swallow someone's load to treat your depression.
I'm on record by saying semen doesn't help with depression. I'll tell you that.
It's the Otto and George joke. It's like a new Disney movie, Honey, I Drank the Kids.
Right.
Oh, that's funny.
I was very sad when Otto died.
What? he had bacterial meningitis. Is that what
Correct.
happened? It was an effect from that?
He recovered from that, and then he died from some late complication. That part I don't know. I used to talk to him. He weirdly, I don't know how this happened, but Otto was kind of listened to my show and he was a fan. We both had magic in our background. We were both nerdy kids doing magic shows and stuff. And I think that might have been part of it, because I talked about the first time I beat off, I used my zombie ball foulard. It's a silk cloth, and beat off with that. I think that's probably
You
what
didn't
did
drink
it.
it afterward, though.
No.
After you finished, did you go ta-da?
Yeah. It's funny. I was like, what the hell is that stuff? Because I didn't know that's what happened. But anyway, and we were always talking about, we want to do something together. Let's do something together. And we always had time, because both of us were young at the time, or younger. And then he died, and it really kind of fucking sucked. So,
Yeah.
He was brilliant. And I like what Patrice said about him. He walked into the green room just going, Otto doesn't even try to not move his lips. That wasn't the point. The ventriloquism wasn't the point. But anyway, he was brilliant.
I got two more, then we'll do our plugs. And
Okay.
I can't thank you enough for your time. Thank you very much. College of Physicians of Philly
Okay.
East. Okay. This
I gotta go. Okay, I'm going.
Einstein brain. Wow, is that true?
Set you straight. You didn't have to pay $5 for that, but thank you. Thank
Yes,
you.
he did.
Chad will thank you for that. But yeah, I will absolutely check that out. I don't know how I.
They have Einstein's brain there,
That's pretty cool.
and
It looks just like any old normal brain. They're waiting till they can figure out. Maybe AI will help them figure out if there was something different about his brain.
What is it? It's just sit on display and like
I don't know.
liquid?
I haven't seen it. I'll let you know.
Yeah,
when I
go now. I can't think of a better way to end a show right here. Crumb Bum, great show, y'all rule. Thank you, Crumb Bum.
Any one of your moderators?
He's a great dude. Yeah,
And he's giving you money. Okay, well,
these are good people.
they are good.
Yeah, they're very
Thank you,
nice.
Crumb Bum.
Wait, okay, leave it on this one. When Chad finishes, he goes, "Whatcha?" That's an inside joke. Whatcha? Whatcha? That's a Clearwater Chat. Dr. Steve, I can't thank you enough. Would you plug anything?
Sure.
How do people find you? Is
Weird
Weird
Medicine-
Medicine?
drsteve.com. I'm selling all my Dabbleverse related games at cost, because I am getting out of the Dabbleverse business as soon as this lawsuit is over.
Take me with you.
Yeah, that's my last act in this universe, voluntarily anyway, is doing this GoFundMe. And so I put all my stuff on stuff.drsteve at cost. We've got a game called Wet Brain. It's a card game. It's a party game based on Presidents and Assholes. Dabble Dice is a fun party game as well. And also I've got, if anybody is a gambler, and please gamble responsibly, but I have a cheat sheet for Deuces Wild Video Poker, which is the only game in the casino that has a positive expected value for the player if they play it right. So if you play it over time, you will accumulate money rather than lose money. So that's the only game like that in the casino. Anyway, that's me.
Comedian Mike Vecchione has a joke. Says, I was in Vegas. I saw a billboard that says, "Gambling problem? Call this number." He's like, I think they should change it to "Gambling problem? I bet you won't call this number."
Then they will. That's funny.
That's Mike
That's a good one.
Vecchione's joke.
Anyway, and then just Weird Medicine wherever podcasts are heard.
iTunes, Spotify, all that. Go
Sure, all
subscribe.
that bullshit.
Tony Mazur, what do you got?
I'm still on Patreon, patreon.com/Tony Mazur, TonyMazur. Follow me on Twitter as well. I think many of you already do. And the Check Your Brain podcast goes out for free every Wednesday, wherever you get your finer podcasts.
And by the way, if you didn't get this live, Tony will have it on his Patreon. I'll have it on mine. Sign up for as little as $5. Patreon.com/World War Z. We can't let Stuttering John win. Go sign up. The next person who signs up gets one of my new shirts. Dr. Steve, I'll mail this out to you for free.
Okay. Well,
I think
I'll see you in a little while.
Yeah, we're gonna. Oh yeah, you're gonna come down here. I got a We're Doing It shirt with the Starsky and Hutch car on it, and I also have the I Hate Chad shirts, which is selling very well. Hit me up if you're in the $30 tier. You get one for free. But
Last question, Dr. Steve, did you
Yep.
watch Marcus Welby back in the day?
Yeah, I mean, who didn't back then? We had 3 channels. There was nothing else to watch.
It's the best doctor show.
Oh, speaking of, wait, you said you have a Patreon too, since we're all signing up for Patreon?
Oh, I do, yeah. Patreon.com/weirdmedicine. It's $3. I put up archival stuff mostly, and then they get any video thing I do, they get first.
It's Weird Medicine?
Yeah.
Okay.
Patreon.com/weirdmedicine.
I'll sign up for yours if you sign up with mine.
I think I am signed up for yours. I was.
No, I was until Stuttering John struck my channel.
Okay.
So I had to get approval of the new one. So it's been a long journey, but I'm trying to build it back up brick by brick. It cost me a lot of money, you son of a bitch. All right, for Dr. Steve and Tony Mazur, I am the Z-Man. Thank you so much, everybody. Show's over. Thank you for watching. Get yourself a membership. Sign up to our Patrons. Count the votes. Bring home the troops.
The Z-Man is on the attack. My monster stinks. Kill me out like guilty. And for one good day, I thought he was squashed. Ray DeVito wishes us well. The mud shark is coming to say your show sucks. Caitlin Clark rules. The Z-Man is on the attack. But Chrysler stinks. Kill me out like guilty. And for one good day, I thought it was squashed. Ray DeVito wishes us well. The mud shark is coming to say your show sucks. Caitlin Clark rules. The Z-Man is on the attack. But Chrysler stinks. Kill me out with guilty. April wants good dick. I thought it was squash. Ray DeVito wishes us well. The mud shark is coming to say your show sucks. Caitlin Clark rules. April wants good dick. I thought it was drinking McDrickle drunk. I'm drinking McDrickle drunk.